What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Taro Patch. Had a little echo, but I'm joined here by a super important person in the state Senate, Mr. Senator Brenton Awa.
Aloha.
Mahalo for coming. I really appreciate it.
It's a nice place, nice setting. Get the water running.
Yeah.
Kalo in the back.
Set the ambiance up.
Yep.
Okay, so to get things started, I'd like to ask all of my guests just where they were from and how it was growing up for them.
I'm from here, Kahalu. Well, dad's side is as far back as we can go, five, 6, 7 generations before we came from Hawaii Island.
Me.
Kona side. But I grew up in Ka'ava, so that was where my mom's side
Okay.
was, and so I grew up on a banana and papaya farm in Ka'ava. We eventually moved to Kahalu'u, but I ended up sticking with my friends and going to Kahuku High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this whole side.
Yeah, all country then, basically the whole time. Okay, that's cool. So, like, what was your upbringing? Like, were you like, did you have to go to church all the time, or like, were you into sports?
My upbringing was so I was forced into sports because it's either you're gonna work or you're gonna do sports. And so at home there was no shortage of work. Every summer we painted the house. My dad would just make us do it, just to teach us hard work. I worked up in the banana farm over here, banana papaya farm over here, right up the road in Kahalu. One summer I've worked on the shrimp farm one summer. It's always work. And so because there was so much work in my life, that's all my dad wanted us to do is work as kids. We never used to go out. They never let us go out, nothing. So yeah, we was real sheltered. But sports was the outlet, and so I got into wrestling, basketball, football, all that stuff.
Okay.
And
So it's like a
pretty much I did work in sports. That's it.
Okay. So like definitely structured lifestyle, always like kind of on schedule and stuff.
I don't know what on schedule, but yeah, there was never, you call one job, there's another job.
Yeah.
And the work that you did in that last job wasn't enough. So it's just the kind of upbringing I had. That's why today is the same way. It's like, okay, here's a job. How can we take care of it? Let's take care of it. Okay, next. It's not even time to reflect.
Yeah, for real. So, like, I know, for those of you who may not know, Brenton was also a local news anchor at one point in time. And, yeah, I think, do you want to talk about that a little bit too?
Up to you. I'm just here, answer whatever questions.
Yeah. If you could just expand on your anchor.
By the way, this is my first time. This is on Twitch.
Yeah.
First time on Twitch for me. I don't know if that means I'm getting old or what.
No way.
But yeah, as a news anchor, I left as a news anchor. I didn't start as a news anchor. I started at the bottom. Matter of fact, I worked unpaid for 7 months.
Interning, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it that because at one time they said, "Hey, this is illegal. We're not paying you. You can't keep coming, but we need you." And so that's why they gave me my first job. It was $12 an hour, the lowest you can be in the newsroom, associate producer.
Oh,
yeah. But it came after 7 months unpaid. I just kept showing up. The typical story, what we're taught: hard work, dedication, eventually pays off.
Yeah.
Most interns, they're PAW after 2-3 months. And mine would have been Paul, but I just kept showing up.
That's cool.
But that was after college. I came back over here, and that's how I got into the news.
Where'd you go to school at?
Clarion, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, far away.
Oh, yeah, super far. What was that, like East Coast?
East Coast school a little bit between Pittsburgh and Penn State.
What were you majoring in?
Wrestling.
Oh,
no, I wasn't majoring in wrestling. I went to wrestle.
Okay.
But I majored in speech communication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Pennsylvania. Yeah, I went to like East Coast once in my life. I went Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, never again. I'm good. It's cold. The people are cold, and there's no reason for me to be out there.
Well, it was good. It was a good experience.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like every time I go away from Hawaii, I love it because it makes me like appreciate being from here so much more. I'm just like, oh yeah, I get to go back home after this, like where everybody wants to be.
Yep.
So I know you left the news like kind of in the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that was kind of like my first, I guess, example of your like integrity. I actually like respected how you straight stood up to the news and just told them like, no, I'm not doing this. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
this isn't right.
It was pretty simple. Matter of fact, I still have a lawsuit, so I can't talk about too much stuff, but I can tell you pretty much what I've told others. They basically, I mean, so your viewers know, it came down to a point where there was so much misinformation in my teleprompter that I had been submitting all this reports, basically stating it, and nothing was happening. Well, I ended up, in short, they had consultants tell me, Brenton, if you see misinformation in a teleprompter, read it with extra confidence because 90% of people will believe it. And so that was the beginning of the end right there. I wasn't there much longer.
Okay, yeah. That's kind of, I can't believe like you was actually told that by like.
You see, I just ran into a guy today. I'm not gonna mention names or where it was.
Yeah.
But he was telling, I can't discuss too much because then people wouldn't know who it is. But basically, he was telling me the same conversations were had with him.
That's just like crazy that like people like that are in charge of like our information. You know, like.
I mean, they're not in charge of the information. If you want to talk about the news and the problem, a lot of people think there's agendas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there may be at the top general managers from different places, depending on their values and where they see the station going. But for the most part, what happened in the news, it's really unfortunate. The difference between when I started out of college in 2008 to when I ended in, what was it, 2020, was it mid of 2020 or 2021? It's all blur now that time has gone by with elections and all this other stuff. But basically, the problem is that money. It comes down to money. With social media coming up and different avenues where people can advertise, monies are getting funneled to influencers and other places rather than the old school television commercials.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have that money coming in, well, now they have to balance the budget. When they balance the budget, what they do is they drop salaries or they make cuts. I went through a number of big layoffs. I was the last intern at KGMB, the first new hire at Hawaii News Now. After they merged, that was a whole KHNL, the fourth station. They got pretty much wiped out. So a lot of people lost their jobs. So I saw that over and over. But when it got really bad was the point where the salaries no longer matched the job, not even close. So the people who are putting together the newscasts, let's say at 5 p.m. or a 6 p.m. newscast, so they're called the producer. And the producer writes a majority of the show throughout the day. Okay. That person's standard contract right now, well, when I left, I don't know what it is right now, but when I left, it was between $40,000 to $44,000. So you're talking about paying somebody, undervaluing somebody for such an important position. Yeah. You know, you talk about, it's not our information, but it's the information that we need to get, the unbiased, right down the middle. Just give us the facts. Yeah. You have people right out of college who don't know Waimea Kauai from Waimea over here, you know, or Waimea Hawaiʻi Island. Yeah. And they're writing stuff and you're seeing different kind of videos. I mean, that's just real light surface level errors, but you have positions that are really important. And because the pay is so low, you're not getting people who have that experience, that long time experience. Typically, I mean, if you do, you must be offering some other benefits. But when I was there, I didn't see it. And so that's the main problem is people aren't getting paid what they used to. When I got into KITV, the highest paid reporter was making $95,000. Oh. When I left, reporters were being hired for the same $45,000. Oh. So that's a slash in half. There have been anchors at other stations. One anchor at another station went in to, and this is not direct from me. I didn't see it exactly because it wasn't at my station, but I heard the stories, and they offered him half of what he was making when his contract was up to renew. You know, like so they slash, and so that's the core problem with the news, I believe. Of course, you're gonna get people. Other problems like the reporter might feel a certain way, and because they don't have the integrity, they're not going to be right down the middle. They'll bias their lines and how they write to how they think. They might not even know it. Yeah. But that's where experience comes in, right? And when you don't have that hierarchy, like as it was even when I got in after college, it can be a real problem. When I got in, there was a lot of veterans, It was very hard to become a reporter because there's so many studs, so to say, already there.
Like Joe Moores.
well, I mean, he's still there, but no, there was like Catherine Cruz, Andrew Pereira, Lori Yamada. There's a lot of, people who had a lot of experience.
High caliber kind of.
Yeah, higher caliber,
Yeah.
for sure. But now you look at newsrooms, the demographics completely changed. You don't see, I mean, yeah, Hawaiian News Now, they got Daryl Huff, who goes on and does investigative stuff.
yeah.
So you see that Hawaiian News Now does a pretty good job still. But for the most part, you don't see that experience. You see a lot of young people, and you see a lot of faces that are not from here. Looking to get their, their foot in the door to a market so they can go further, their own agenda in whatever state that they want to go work later.
I see that in a lot of places, actually, not just...
Yeah, it's across the board. It's not just the news.
Like, Hawaii is horrible for outsourcing, like, just positions of importance, to, like, people... For one, that's not from here, but, like, two, they're never gonna, like, look at Hawaii the same as, like, somebody born and raised here.
It's hard to teach it. It takes time. I had a news director who in the beginning, not from here, who in the beginning didn't understand it. By the end, he understood it. And so the difference that made in the newsroom was, phenomenal, 180 degrees. But it took a while for him to learn.
Well, at least he did.
Yep.
So I can tell honesty is a core value of yours, but what are some other core values that you try your best to live by?
I mean, with right now in my life, with the state senate, it's such a huge responsibility. It's not like anchoring. It's not like wrestling, because I'm representing this whole side, east side and the north, and going to the values. It's okay. What to me, when I had to think of, okay, what are the core things that we need to be, cannot move away from, and so when I speak about values, that's where I speak it too. In sports, it's a little bit different, right? You have to have a little bit different values, but in this, the value is simple. It's do what's right when nobody's looking. Put people over yourself in everything you do. And so this is I've lost a lot of weight. I got a lot of white hair, and it's because I live by that. It's unsustainable for a long period. I don't know how long I'll be able to do this, because when you put everybody else above yourself, your own health starts deteriorating. And so I'm probably I lost like a little over 30 pounds already since I started this journey from the news to where I am now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
women might think that's a good thing, but for men, they know it ain't good when you're using your muscle.
I'm trying to gain, if anything. So, as a senator, like, what are your top priorities for your district and the state as a whole? I
mean, if we could, for the state as a whole, broad, want to stop outsiders from buying homes. I know, there's been people who say, "Oh, that's not the problem," or "Hey, no, it's common sense." If you only had local people here buying the homes here, nobody would be getting displaced.
Yeah, literally.
But if you only got 100 homes and 5 more come in, well, somebody's got to leave.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen the studies that say that's not the problem. You walk Kahuku. Tell me that's not the problem.
Right.
Where's all the original families that was here? They ain't there no more.
Fast too it's happening.
Yep. Because we cannot afford. And so going back to that, we want to look at every single way possible. There's at least 14 other states. There at the start of the session, it may be more now, but there was at least 14 other states that currently prohibit or restrict foreigners from buying ag land in their states. And so I'm going to take that bill next session and see if it can go anywhere. We went pretty hard this time. We tried to do a workaround to stop outsiders, period. That was deemed unconstitutional. But then again, I asked the Attorney General with the state of Hawaii, what about the other 14 states that passed this one? She said that's unconstitutional too. So that's the struggle that we face here, is our leadership. We can get stuff done in the community. We threw that 14,000 people Iam Tongi concert. We got Waiahole Farmers sign. We can do things, but the problem is within that building over there at the Capitol.
Dang. That's hard, yeah. So, like, going back off of that, like, can you please, like, reiterate to my viewers how important it is for us to go vote? Because, like, people in my generation, right, you ask anybody if they vote, they're like, nah, my vote don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to speak the word, those 4 letters, because I feel like you speak the word and people automatically turn off. I think what has to happen is, the younger generation, they're going to have to see, feel, and be affected by reality whenever they're ready. There was this quote by one of the great wrestlers that came out of our school, that basically the teacher will appear only when you're ready. And so his story was he was wrestling, he was practicing when everybody was practicing, he was doing the drills that everybody else was doing, but he was losing. He went to the mom, and the mom told him, "Son, I'm glad you finally came to me so I can teach you." But the mom didn't try to teach him, because the mom was so aware of how her son would react if she tried to push something on him. She waited till he was ready.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time until people are ready. And the pandemic made a lot of people ready. When they saw, certain powers that the government had, and they didn't agree with it. So that a lot of people came ready from that, or activated, I guess you could call it. So I'm not gonna preach, elections and all that stuff. Yeah. But I guess the time will come. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So, me as an individual, I just try to show people what's possible, and what we can do, and hopefully that'll open enough eyes to start the awareness. Yeah. Hey, he can do it. This regular guy out of Kahalu. I mean, obviously I had the anchor stuff, so it's not that regular, but I'm still the guy out of Kahalu. Yeah. They can do it too. Yeah. Whether it's running, whether it's helping somebody, whether it's being the person, Yeah. I hope somebody comes and replaces me.
From this
somebody good with values, you know what I mean? Like if somebody had the same kind of mindset, they're just gonna do what's right. They want to make it better for local people. Yeah. Stop outsiders from coming in, and they're gonna be strong to it. They're not gonna bow to people at the Capitol when they get pressured. Yeah. 'Cause there's a lot of pressure. Yeah. Hey, come take my seat, please.
Yeah. So, like, how many votes, like, in total does, like, somebody
need to win? It varies. In our district, this past election was the most voter turnout ever for the state Senate race, simply because the way it lined up. Like there wasn't a mail-in for this type race prior to. But to answer your question in short, I had about 8,400 votes, and my opponent, I believe, had about 7,900, somewhere around there.
Oh, so it's a close.
It was close. Well, so he was an incumbent, and basically to knock off a sitting senator or a sitting representative, anybody who's in is very difficult, because when you're in, you have, for instance, Waiahole is a good example. I'm not gonna name names, but the story's out there, and everybody's good because we all go way back. We're all Kahalu, from Kahalu, our families. But there were people who were campaigning for my predecessor. I wouldn't say against me, but just for him. Yeah. And now those people is some of the people that I helped settle their Waiahole leases so they can keep farming. And so when you're the guy and you have these opportunities, right? I mean, it's looked at that way from a politician is not a word, politician point. The politicians, and I'm not going to say across the board everybody, because I'm not this way. So there could be others not this way either. But when I vote and when I make decisions, it's not off of, this is going to get me reelected, or this is good for this. Like, I stand up to things that I know, it's going to hurt. Yeah. And so I know in a year and a half, people could want me out. There's already a push, the governor will want me out, I think it looks like. But going back to the why, when you're an incumbent, when you're in there and you're helping people, well, now they're tied to you, right? Yeah. So it's very hard to break. And so my predecessor, like I said, he had all these ties, and it took an unprecedented. I'll say that amount of work. I don't know if I can ever do that again. Matter of fact, I lost 25 pounds because I was walking and working so hard. I didn't have time to eat. I couldn't afford food. I sold my car. I had carless. I wasn't homeless, but I was carless for a period of time, just so I had money to buy food. I had to sacrifice everything to get
And
here.
you just walking like door to door.
Door to door from a year out.
Yeah.
The whole district.
That's how I got my Brenton Awa sign hand delivered from the man himself.
But yeah, so if anybody's out there and they're interested, like anything else, like to be a champion, a senator is not a champion, but same mindset, right?
Yeah.
You got to work extremely hard in wrestling. We worked all we did, we weren't the most gifted, but we worked harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
Same thing with the campaign to get here. But I tell you what, like I seen people fall short. Some people fall just short, and their belief is that they've worked the hardest they could, and they may have, but you got a goal to beat an incumbent. You got to either be lucky, you have a lot of money, or the amount of work that you got to put in. You got to take yourself to your limit, and then go beyond it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's honestly really inspirational too, because like, yeah, just like you said, I don't know if you'd be able to pull that off again.
Yeah, I don't. But now that I'm in,
Yeah, you're the income.
Yeah, so now I'm making all these connections. So people are seeing what we can do.
Yeah.
And so now they're gaining trust in us.
Yeah.
So it might be different next time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It might not. And that's okay too. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us.
Yeah.
It's like I ran because I had the skill set to do this. The community said, okay, go do it. If they don't like it, then, it's whatever the community wants.
Yeah. Solid. So like, I know you kind of mentioned like the biggest problems lay like in there. Like, can you kind of
out here or in there?
Or like in the government? Like, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in government?
So in the capital, like I said, we're trying to stop non-residents in any way we can, and so what we ran into was our own state attorney general who doesn't support that. And so the political will is most likely the most difficult challenge in there.
Is the AG local?
No.
Oh.
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah, that says a lot.
You saw the news story where it's our belief. I don't know if it's your belief. I'd assume so, but governor should be from here.
Wow, that is heck yeah, I believe that. Like, I feel like a lot of like positions of power should be people from here,
because it all goes back to the same type of thing. And like in the news, we were talking, when you have an outsider, it takes a while for them to understand.
Exactly.
If you just had a local person, train them, give them access to education on whatever they need. For me, I made it, right? I just punched a hole well, I didn't punch a hole in the door when I exit, but coming in, I basically had to punch my own hole to gain knowledge. Nobody was trying to like just give it to me, but it was available. If you go after it. But anyway, I'm getting on a tangent now. The biggest thing is probably political will and where the establishment's agenda lies, what the establishment wants to do. Because I'm only one. Right. I mean, I represent the biggest Senate district on Oahu, but I'm still just one vote, and one vote has power sometimes. But when you got 24 others who, is not there, it's hard. But that's inside. Outside has been, it's been a good deal. Like the things we've been able to do with department heads. So like Ed Sniffen, the DOT director, he's been out here all the time. We just had an event. No matter how you feel about the roundabout, I know that was kind of messed up with the communication and all that stuff, but it's coming. And so he's been working with us on that. He's been working with us about coastal erosion. They're bringing a pilot project in to try to bring sand naturally in over by Kualoa to see if we can bring sand back
instead of it.
Exactly. Use our own natural resources to try to do what we can to prevent the erosion. So there's been that's good. DLNR has helped us. We want to plant trees. That's one of the big fruit trees, not rubbish trees.
Like food.
Yes. We've got so much land. You look out here, Kahikili Highway. I was just talking to a DOT this morning. One of the trees fell down, right by the hygienics. Temple Valley side. Let's replace that with ulu. Matter of fact, let's plant ulu the whole way. Because over here at Waiahole, the teachers are asking us for money to buy snacks. Like, and what kind of snacks? Oh, ulu.
Oh,
Why? Let's grow it.
yeah.
Exactly. If it was everywhere, why would we have to spend
Yeah.
money? You know, but we have so much land, all these parks. I was up at Mililani, this park next to, I'm just blabbering away now.
Nah, no way. This is exactly how it's supposed to
I'm
be.
driving around, right? I'm driving around because my sometimes I take the long route, but if I want to get to Waialua, I gotta go Mililani side go fast. I'm driving around, I'm gonna pick up my son from school, and I look at the park over there, and it's just, you know, banyan tree. I don't know what exactly type of tree it is, but it's just one after another, just massive trees. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if this park was ulu tree, mango tree, you know, tangerine, whatever it may be,
Food.
the community could just come. That would be a place to come.
Yeah.
You know, not just for sports, for baseball, whatever they're gonna play over there, but you know, a gathering spot.
Yeah.
Where you can eat.
Yeah. For real.
Why we don't do that is beyond me.
Pick fresh fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like why we don't do that. You feel like you figure Hawaii would be one of the places that's like all about stuff like
Well,
that.
the typical excuse is, oh, it's going to bring rodents, so it's going to be messy when people aren't picking them. But I tell you what, I went down to BYUH, and you know, I didn't see it happening firsthand, but I see the vine, the lilikoi vine, and it's empty. Why does the president tell me why it's empty? Is because students pick it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making their campus an edible campus.
That's solid.
Yeah. Like, why not? It makes sense. If it's going to grow on its own, you know, why not?
Totally. And that like just straight like just promotes like better health too, you know, like eating fresh fruits versus like
Yeah, if you see others doing it.
Yeah.
You driving by, you see others doing it. You may have never tasted a ulu in your life.
Yeah, for real.
But you might stop and ask somebody, hey, well, this looks popular.
Hey,
How do you do it?
I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, I used to think ulu was like solely reserved for like Samoans and Tongans. But then I started studying in Hawaiian studies, and then I actually started eating ulu, and I was like, brah, it's like, I love it actually. Like,
Yeah, more
ulu
people.
pa'iai is probably like a little bit better than kalo pa'iai sometimes.
Yeah, so that's another one of the big things that, you know, I hope whether I'm out in 2 years or I get another term, I hope that we have trees, fruit trees, food trees planted in our district, more of them in state areas, government areas.
Yeah.
Because individuals are doing it, but the state got to jump on.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I know you posted a little bit about that that bill that didn't pass. It was about the chickens, but then it kept coming back. Like, why is stuff like that allowed to happen?
You know, it is allowed. So good you point that out, right? And I know there was people who was thinking, oh, Brenton, you don't know the rules. No, it's not that I don't know the rules. There's ethics and then there's morals. Yeah, maybe there's no ethic rule from the ethics commission that says you can't do this, right? It's within the rules, but morally, to me and a lot of others, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? If your bill dies, sure, I can understand the other side. The other side is, no, we're elected officials, elected to fight for our communities and what they want. And so that's what they're going to push. They're going to push every nook and cranny. They're going to stay within the guardrails of what they can do, you know, even if they're just hugging it the whole way. And they're gonna do that. You see it in Civil Beat, a lot of articles about, you know, workarounds and whatnot.
Yeah.
But to us, they just have better morals.
Yeah.
You know? DUI. We started the year with this thing. They wanted to lower it from 0.08 to 0.05, and it should have been automatic.
Yeah.
You know? But then you got people debating, oh, this equity and all this stuff. It's like, just be quiet. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to stop drunk drivers.
Literally.
Like, you know
Like,
what I mean?
people shouldn't be driving drunk. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. But
Bruh, like, my friend in Nanakuli got killed by a drunk driver, and they let her off, bro. And she, like, hit and ran him, too. It was a pretty, like, nuts. Like, it was on the news and everything, and, like, I don't understand why, like, Hawaii justice literally always lets go the worst people, but then they hammer down on, like, a local brother just trying to make his way.
yeah, those types of things are kind of disheartening when those types of bills die for whatever reasons that are made. You know, it is. I guess it's not a struggle, but yeah, it is disheartening to see some leaders and where they stand on their beliefs of what is best for this place, because a lot of the time arguments I feel are made just to muddy the conversation,
Yeah.
not because they're valid.
Yeah.
For instance, back to growing trees, our bill, we had this bill that would have made it so that in any upcoming government landscaping project, wherever applicable, not everywhere, wherever applicable, they gotta plant fruit trees instead of shower
Rubbish.
trees.
Yeah.
And had support from a lot of the members, but one of the members, for political reasons, not even for the bill itself, just for political reasons, because I voted no to one of their bills, said we don't need this bill.
Bruh,
So the fruit tree bill died.
that's like so like egotistical, bro. Like
That's what it's like. It's like imagine high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine high schoolers making laws.
Like,
These are smart high schoolers. Like they got experience and they're smart and they're coming from wherever field they're in. But and they know they're smart when it comes to lawmaking and the politics. But you know, it takes more than smarts to do the right thing.
yeah, of course. So how do you envision using your position to promote and preserve Native Hawaiian culture?
How do I use my position to do that? I mean, for one, I think I walk in it.
Yeah.
You know, my dad raised us. You go into the ocean. You only take what you can eat because if you take more, someone else's family is starving.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of what I portray, what I'm doing. You know, when I stand up, it's difficult in there to stand up. I mean, not difficult for me, but it's a difficult level of difficulty would be pretty hard for others because I know that I'm probably, and I've heard it from some leaders, that I'm the most disliked person in the Capitol. And so what I would say to answer that, I mean, I'm resisting, you know, one of our Hawaiian values. Yeah. So it's not a resistance against good things. It's just a resistance so often that because there's so many things that are out of line. You know, we had bills. They want to bring nurses in because there's not enough nurses here. They want to bring accountants in from out of state because there's not enough accountants here. And I got to stand up to those things because nobody else wants to stand up to them. Because my train of thought again is to stop outsiders from coming in.
Yeah.
Do what we can to make the locals be accountants. You know, I don't want to hear the excuses of it's too hard or they don't want to. Make it so people want to.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Not take the easy low hanging fruit of let's just bring in people from out of state.
No, I'm
And
pretty
so-
sure there is like friggin' people that graduate from UH that would love the position.
It's just that there needs local people. You know, and you know I'll catch criticism for this, but I think it's that stigma still. You know, growing up it was that way too, where you know Koku football. Let's go back to Koku football. It was about 2000, 2001, where we would win the state title, and the next year we would still be ranked below St. Louis. We'd win the state title, and we'd still be ranked below St. Louis. And there was this stigma, you know, public schools, they're just
Not as good.
not as good.
IH, yeah.
So the rankings would show that, you know. When we win a state title a couple years ago, Iolani football Division 1, I think, but open division's higher, so you'd think open division gets the front page. Well, Iolani got the front page, Kahuku never get. They got a little blurb, you know. So going back to that kind of mentality is, I think the stigmatism of local people is just not smart enough.
Yeah,
Local people is just not qualified enough.
that is
When you have leaders who aren't from here, of course you're going to still have that stigma,
yeah.
you know, unless they learn that, no, we are. And that's one of the things that I hope to do for Hawaiians, for local people. I got in. My last name is AWA. You can do it too. You know, you don't gotta take their belief. If I had that belief, what would I be doing? Nothing.
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm just gonna close those windows. Farm life.
Yeah, you live on a farm.
Yeah.
Work must go on.
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of talked about it a little earlier, but would you mind going into depth about like how you pulled off that miraculous like underdog story win for the Senate seat?
Well, really, it was the people. It started with the people. They asked people. A lot of people were asking, "Hey, Brendan, why don't you go do this?" And at the time, I was jobless, so I told you I sold my car just so I could afford food. I was carless, and I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I mean, I just came out of one career. God is, let me tell you this story. There were certain things that happened. And I'll get back to your answer, but there are certain things that happen, and so what it takes to win is a strong belief that you can do it, but not only you can do it, that the community wants you to do it and supports you in doing it. And there's certain things that God showed me. I chopped down, my brother actually, we were chopping down a coconut tree because it was dangerous on our property. We had the kids.
Yeah, you can die from falling coconuts.
Yeah, so we chopped it down, which, by the way, if anybody thinks I chopped down trees, we had 4 sprouted keiki from down first before we chopped it down. So there was 4 in pots before we chopped that one down. We chopped it down, the thing landed. Like a couple minutes later, an old eel, I got the picture. So it's not a fisherman tail, it was like this big, floated up.
Oh.
Yeah, because we were right on the water up here. Floated up right there. I was like, oh my gosh, like, we're just doing work and we're getting rewarded. And so, yeah, how did I do it? I had a strong belief that this was the door, this was the path.
Yeah.
And so I put everything into it. Like, almost like you're, when you enter something, whether it's sports, I don't know what competition, the people who, have outliers who have God-given talent. Sometimes they get lucky and they'll be champions. But for the most part, when you see really successful people, it's because, like I said earlier, they push themselves to their limits and then they reset their limits and go beyond their limits, and then they go beyond other people's limits. And they have that mentality. And so that's the mentality that I took into it. Was every single day I got 24 hours to catch up to this guy who is there and now. And it's not that it's a race or it's a battle, because the real struggle and battle was making sure I could get my message out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Right. But that's how I looked at it. And so once I had that mindset, I just went out every day, every single day. First it was walking, then it was walking again, then it was putting up signs. And when I put up signs, everything we did wasn't typical.
Yeah, yeah.
Down to my sign. I had successful people in the Capitol who were, Brenton, that's your sign? That's what you're going to go with? Yeah, what's wrong with it? The check mark says vote. AWA says who. Red and black says what place, where I'm from.
Yeah.
But even that, people look at signs. They don't look at it. They don't. I have yet to come across somebody who's put that much details into certain things. But like a fight, if you don't visualize over and over every single thing that can happen, you're not ready for it. Then chances is going to be less of you pulling off your goal.
Yeah.
And our goal, I'll tell you this for anybody else who may be thinking of running, if they see this, come election time, our goal wasn't to win. Our purpose was basically to show people that I have skills that can do what I believe they're looking for from all these board meetings and everything else that was going on. And so my intention, I thought we'd win, but the purpose was not to win. The purpose and goal for the campaign was to get my message out to everybody, show them they have an option. Yeah.
Well, that's super, I don't even think I would have went into the election with I'm not gonna win, but I still gonna run.
There's people who do that too, and there's different reasons behind that. I'm not knocking that at all. But if you want to knock off an incumbent and you don't have the money, that was the thing. We did it for a fifth of the cost because I made it a point. We don't want to play the game.
Yeah.
Money is a big problem. Yeah. You get one piece of paper, those things that come in the mail. A lot of people just throw them in the garbage anyway, so that's waste money to me. But when you mail out for our whole district for the Senate, if you mail it out, it costs you anywhere between $12,000 to $16,000. one mailer.
Rah.
And you got people who sent out 5 mailers in the last couple of months. You know, add that up. It's a lot of money. So where's that money coming from? It's coming from your donors. Who are you getting donations from? Are you taking from corporations? Are you taking from small people's pockets? Well, me, I don't want to take from nobody's pockets, because what other job you have to go take money from people so you can get the job? That makes no sense to me. It should be free. And so that's why this coming one, I'm not going to campaign at all. And we're not going to take a single dollar. And the only thing that I have to pay for probably is your fee for the Office of Elections to actually, you know, get on the ballot. It was like 200 something bucks or something last time. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be zero money, because I hope, you know, we prove that you can do it with little money. The first time. This time I hope to show people that you can be local and
win.
Yeah, win. Without, obviously the circumstance is a little bit different hard, when you're an incumbent. Same kind of concept. Yeah.
So, what sets you apart from other politicians in the Capitol, and what makes you an effective representative for your community?
What was the first one? How do you set apart? Where do you begin on
what
that
sets you apart from?
I don't know where to begin on that one.
You're from here.
I'm not even get to that part, because people know that stuff. But at the Capitol, on our door is a sign that says "No gifts." Some people look at me like a headache. Some people look at me like, "Cool off, Brenton. Settle down. He's coming in and ruffling so much, shaking the tree." When we came in, there was this spoken word that gifts up to $25 were acceptable. There's no such thing. There was something that was called a gift of aloha. And this guy, Robert Harris, the ethics commissioner, he wrote an article in Civil Beat last weekend. If anybody want to check that out, we'll see this. But basically, he wrote an article, and it was talking about gifting. And there used to be this called gifts of aloha up to whatever amount, $25 or whatever it may have been. But that is no longer recognized since like 2013. And so we looked it up. We found that out because people were trying to buy us lunch. And it's like, I cannot take nothing from you. And so we don't meet with lobbyists, because lobbyists have an unfair advantage. They're paid to try to influence your votes.
Literally.
You're not being paid to come and, you know, try to influence my vote. So we don't meet with them. We don't take any gifts. Those are two things that probably set me apart from most people, aside from the local and what I fight for. Because again, ethics is one thing, and that's where that's who gives us our guardrails, so to say, is what they call them. But morals, we work in that guardrail line. We're in a different because we're trying to do what's right all the time for the people of our community, even when nobody's looking.
Exactly. That's what sets him apart, folks. Do good when nobody's looking. Yeah, we back. So, what made you run as a Republican?
Well, the first thing was easy. There's so much corruption. Who leads Hawaii? The establishment is Democrats. We're a super minority as far as Republicans. So I think the path that I was in, first off, my place. This is a conservative place. You know, we're raised with different values out here from Kahaluu down that way. And all throughout my life, I had been taught, you know, the tougher road. You know, there's no, the cheap victories aren't worth nothing. It's only the ones that take everything. You know that. So I could have went the cheap route and be like some people and, you know, put the blue flag up and get elected more easy. But it wasn't about, I could not be associated with a party so corrupt. Not to say the other side's any better if they were to all get in. You know? But the other side is so few that I looked at it like, we can build this into our own local party. I pick Republican, not, you know, tied to any presidents or anything outside of Hawaii. I'm not tied to that at all. I do like the Republican ones that that ban outsiders from buying property over in their states. I agree with that 100%. I wish we had a governor over here who would do that. But the choice was basically made off of that. It was made off of that and a few other things that came up. But it wasn't about, certain rights or certain issues or anything like that. It was more so, we're more conservative in the country.
Yeah.
We just are. I'm not talking politically. I'm just talking about how we're raised.
Like,
how people dress.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
What we think about dress codes and I mean that's just one thing, one example. How we act, how we treat people.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's political, whether you're Democrat, you don't treat people good, or Republican, you treat people. No, it's not like that. But in our community, the conservative way of life is it's kind of there.
The way, yeah. So like, what
was the second question?
I was gonna say, what do you feel about the two-party system?
Oh, it should be abolished. I wish it wasn't. We shouldn't have to, because all it does really is give people a reason to be divided. You can have two people who totally agree, but you carry the blue flag, you carry the red flag. You know what? We cannot talk.
Yeah.
Why? Because of something America made up? Like Hawaiians didn't make that up.
Serious.
Unfortunately, it's the system that governs us right now. And if you're an independent, good luck at trying to get in. There's not one inside the Senate.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. Like, so you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah. So you can't represent the other one. What is one thing that you wish like most locals here understood about politics? That everybody kind of just doesn't really get.
The one, I might go to bed and have a different answer, but off the top of my head, I wish people would understand that you gotta be proactive. A lot of things happen, and then like the roundabout, for instance. And it's not a political thing, but government made a decision, or government had, talks. They made a decision. And now they're rolling out their decision. Well, when a lot of people found out about it for the first time just last year, there was a meeting. A lot of people were upset. You don't have to be upset. If you just, the communication on the government's end was poor, so I'll give them that. But being proactive, if you get wind of something and, there's an opportunity to testify or an opportunity to make your voice heard, make it heard then. Not after the fact when it's already a done deal and stamped and contract is out. Because that part's tough. It's tough when you have people who are like, hey, we don't agree with this. And it's like, I know we don't agree with this. Please come out next time faster.
Real.
Because Mauna Kea worked with the protests so far. It seems to be working. But we cannot be like Mauna Kea cannot be imitated everywhere for every little thing, every little issue, right?
Kukiai roundabout?
No, it's like it's not at that level. And so the level is really I wish that more people would take part. Again, that's hard though. When people are working 2-3 jobs, on top of that, they got sports for their kids. It's very difficult.
I definitely feel what you said. Like, there's no use complaining after the fact. We're supposed to, as soon as we find out, we should do something about it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. One of the biggest things that I try to push is to communicate with the community. Hey, this is happening. And you guys know, be ready for it. If you don't like it, this. Right today, I don't know what happened yet with the city council, but I put that out yesterday. The raises, and so this was the first and last opportunity, most likely, to make people's voices heard or testify, whether you support or oppose. But I haven't heard one supporter of that, other than the people who are the salary commission and
who benefits.
Yeah.
So, how do you approach finding common ground across party lines with other members of the Capitol? Honestly,
we didn't do anything in the Capitol. I mean, we did a lot of work, but we did a lot of votes, but it was a lot of resistance votes. None of my bills passed. My fruit tree bill, like I was telling you, people liked it, even on the other side of the aisle. The other party liked it, but politics gets in the way. And some people might tell you otherwise, but And when you're carrying a different flag, why would they? I was gonna go into a story, but I don't want to shake that one yet.
Okay,
But,
okay.
but without going into it, I'll just say that why would they want to make me look like I accomplish things? You know, I'm a target. I'm not somebody they want to boost up. So that's just what it is, though. But there is respect in there by a lot of people, and I got friends that I talk to in there who are on the other side, and they don't believe in the two-party system either. Or some of them, they're more towards the middle, even though they're blue.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was the question again? I don't know if I answered. I went on a tangent again.
Oh yeah,
common ground.
Yeah. How do you?
With the bills, there was no common ground. That's the biggest problem with a one-party system. I'll say that is when you only have a super minority in there.
Yeah.
Getting common ground is very difficult because the establishment has their agenda and they know what they want to do, and they're going to bicker amongst themselves into which person's version or whatever way is the best to do it.
Yeah.
But when you're on the other side, most of the time I'm just trying to stop the thing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, these bringing people in out of state, that was a big one. There's been so much. They wanted to shame, and however you feel about gas and electric cars, they wanted to shame people who put gas still. And to me, that's like, that's wrong. Why would you want to shame people? And the way they want to do it is they just want to put things on the handle of the pump saying, what you're pumping is doing this to the environment and all these things. It's not like we're against the environment, but like what? We all can afford electric cars.
Yeah,
no,
what?
I can't even afford my car that's overheating right now.
That's crazy.
But these are all kind of things they try to do. They wanted to make there was a bill to make a fee for airlines. So I don't know what they call it, if it was a climate offset fee or what, but basically whatever, your seat in the plane, however they divide up the negative effects of
your carbon footprint.
of your travel, you got to go pay that fee. What are you guys living in? Like, we're broke.
It's like, why not charge billionaires with private jets?
Exactly.
Like the people that can pay for it and not even be affected.
So anyway, a lot of it was resistance, unfortunately.
Bruh, that's
If it was half, well, now you got to find common ground, right?
Yeah.
If you got a real two-party system and two people is deadlocked and it's a tie vote, well, then something's got to give on either side. Now you're talking, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, people don't even realize that about Hawaii. Yeah, like
it's so dominant on one side. You got one person just trying to
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So like, you seem to really understand how effective social media can be in this day and age. Like, what role do you feel social media will play in politics in the future?
It depends. I mean, even social media changes so often, right? We'll see if it's around in 10 years or if what the next thing is. You're on Twitch. I'm not on Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next thing's going to be. But as far as right now, I can say that social media, although a lot of people, we got a lot of votes from there too, but there were people who had even more followers than me who lost races to people who had a lot less followers.
Yeah.
Because social media doesn't
equate votes.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And so you can, be real popular on there and think that, all I need is 8,000 votes. I got 200,000 followers. No, easy.
You think it would be easy.
That way.
Yeah.
It's not that way.
Oh, that's...
So what social media is a good tool to communicate really instantly and get the word out to people about whatever the issue is. And then they can go word of mouth it throughout the community. It's a good tool to do that. But to change elections, I don't know. It's a long way off, I think.
Yeah. Social media, it's kind of nuts how like Twitter is under fire most of the time because like I guess Elon Musk he was letting this one like heavily conservative Republican guy like post a video. It's a documentary called "What Is a Woman," and then there's like some, I guess, defectors that worked at Twitter that was still trying to like censor the video. So like Elon Musk had to get involved and like get them all fired and stuff. But it's just so crazy that like it goes that far. Like people willing to risk their livelihoods for like what they think is.
I don't know if it's and I don't know about that case, but I don't know if it's just more public now or if we're just coming to an age where we're seeing it because we want to see it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of baffling how open, a lot of these things are.
Yeah.
And they should be. But it's just so blatant, corruption is so blatant.
No, for real.
Whereas before you
couldn't really.
I think
it was just like maybe.
Unless it's just because 30 years ago I was a kid.
You
just don't understand. I don't know that part, but I do know that it's so out of hand and it's in plain sight.
Yeah, totally. Well, on a lighter note, what would be some advice to a young adult aspiring to get involved in politics in hopes of positively changing their community?
I don't want to point them in the wrong direction, but I would say stay out of politics until you have a foundation where your beliefs. Because beliefs, they can change too.
Yeah.
Some people can start one party and end up another party.
Yeah.
You see that too.
Yeah.
But
Tulsi.
I would say, I would say focus on who you are, understand, really gain knowledge, as much knowledge as you can about not so much the process. You can follow the process and whatnot of how it works in the Capitol and the legislature or city council, elections and all of that. But just establish yourself a base first. So find out your purpose. What if you want to go into politics? What is the purpose? What is your purpose going to be? Do you want to eventually run? Do you want to,
help or
whatever it may be, but not even just the surface level of what you want to be, of what is your purpose. So my purpose is to do two things while I'm in this: take down corruption and make lives better for locals. That's it. And so everything goes towards those two avenues.
Falls under those.
But I had a base in the news. I understood a lot of topics. I flew all around the place, covered a lot of things. I had a good base of knowledge. You got to develop. You can't be in a pawn and think your way is the way. You gotta try and get out there, learn a lot, find out your purpose, and then go after it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Or it might come to you.
Yeah.
In my case, I didn't want to ever bought it. In the news, I had a news director who said, "Brenton, you got to go cover the Capitol. You can be our Capitol reporter." I was like, "Well, I don't want to be a Capitol reporter. Let's stay away from the Capitol right now. Stay away from the lawmakers." But that's when I started getting into that. It wasn't that I seeked it, but I had a foundation. And then it started building. And then next thing you know, I became, I'm not gonna say one of them, but a representative of my community.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, just build yourself up strong first.
So what are how do you see the future of our district, and do you have any long-term goals that you wanted to start before your term is up?
Yeah, so right now I want to plant trees. I want to plant food trees. If people are watching this and they want to help plant food trees, reach out, because we see too much rubbish trees going up. Somebody's getting paid for those trees. Yeah. Somebody's getting paid to put those trees in. And what kind of benefit are we getting other than shade?
Yeah.
The ulu tree can do shade too. Mango tree can do shade too. I hope that when people come to our district, we're going to be the, Oahu's the gathering place. Yeah. But we're going to be the feeding place. So that's one. That's just me personally, like what I would like to see. Yeah. The biggest things, again, stopping non-residents from coming into the state, making sure the people who are here are getting priced out. Mm-hmm. The road, we got to figure out road situation.
Yeah. Camp highways.
In this area. Cesspools is a big issue. Polluting kind of there. Right over here is the most more
heavily concentrated area of Yeah,
So,
my girlfriend's grandma actually just had to apply for like that grant.
assistance, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they got them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are some of them. Those are some of the big ones. And then along the way, you know, when we're exposed to corruption or unethical practices, we expose it.
Yeah, of course. So, what does the current relationship between government and business look like, and how can we promote economic growth for local businesses?
Government and business is a tough place. You know, everywhere you look, businesses continue to go out. Kaneohe Bakery, that one is beyond me. You had a long-term bakery in Kaneohe, in the heart of Kaneohe. They go out during the pandemic, and what are they replaced by? A Chinese cabinet company.
But that building looks so like not even welcoming now. It's just it literally looks
from China.
yeah.
So you talk about it, mind-numbing. You know, I don't believe the state has the best interest for businesses, but that's just one person's belief. And why I feel that way is because of what I see at the top.
Yeah.
And when it goes back to political will, you know, everything's tied in. Well, who are you getting your donations from?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder, you know, you're supporting these unions or these companies over the small businesses. The small businesses farmers. I saw the ag budget today, or the state budget overall, and ag is almost dead last. It's like maybe second or third to the last of how much money we give it. You know, ag. Why is that? You know, I bet you if farmers were billionaires, ag would be more up, because farmers would be getting the governors into their spots.
Yeah.
Because farmers would be paying the politicians to get their campaigns to win. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But because farmers are poor, it reflects in the budget.
Right,
they don't get much. And so back to businesses, I unfortunately, again, because it's a one-party system, and it's a system that caters to the people that keep these people in.
Yeah.
It's always going to be hard to do business for the local person unless you're in, you know, your buddies, or you're scratching their back. So I think that's what the problem comes down to.
Campaign.
Yeah, studies can look at taxes and they can look at all of the red tape and whatnot businesses have to go through, and that's legitimate. But I think the only change comes when you have people who are going to say no to corporations.
Yeah.
And instead help the smaller guys.
For real.
And, you know, in turn, they might lose their position. But if you ain't willing to put your position on the line every single day, who are you?
Yeah.
You know? Dog's going nuts.
So there's been a little controversy surrounding the roundabout. You kind of mentioned like it may be beneficial, but the way the government communicated it was definitely a problem. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I have no take about the roundabout itself. I grew up right down the road, like right up the street by St. John's, so I make that left turn all the time.
Do you feel we need a roundabout?
Personally, I didn't feel we need a roundabout. But that's just me. Yeah. I can drive. I can make the left turn. You know, I can make the right turn. I understand maybe some people think that's unsafe. And so I'm just going to say that I personally, as a driver, didn't feel it was needed. There are those in the community that, you know, maybe they cannot, maybe eyesight, maybe something, you know, maybe they just feel uncomfortable, you know, behind the wheel. And so I understand that. The part that I don't agree with, one, like I told you, was the communication was poor. And last year we were told the project was going to be $5.5 million. Now the project's up to $9 million.
Oh, that could affect Kahalu in like such a
so
positive way.
It's not, you know, if we could just have a genie and snap, boom, roundabout up here, hey, I don't think there's much of a problem. You know, people can figure out how to use it. You know, it might slow traffic down and do it. Not a problem. I think that everything that comes along with it, kind of like some of the bills where the bill's title is this, but there's all these things in it that are unseen, right? So yeah, the price. How did it almost double in less than a year? That's a problem. Also, people want a left turn lane up Waihe'e. So, you know, the traffic doesn't back up.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
put talent in before you do the roundabout, you know?
Just to see if it helps or not.
Hopefully we can get it. At least it's on the DOT's radar now to add a left turn lane.
Okay.
So if we can get that, that'll be nice.
So I feel like it's the road is wide enough over there for it.
Yeah, they said that because the marsh is there, they need to study, which takes a while.
Oh yeah.
So, but they're supposedly on it.
There's the marsh. Yeah.
But so back to the roundabout. Yeah. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I have no take on that. As a driver, I wouldn't have needed it. I don't want to spend $9 million on it. But again, you know, how can you go against safety? That's the other argument, right, from the other side. So I got no problem with it. Hopefully it can just be built as fast as possible, not inconvenience us that long, and at the end of the day work. If it works, then we're just in a temporary phase of it being a nuisance.
Little transition. Yeah.
But $9 million, that one's hard to swallow.
Yeah, bruh. Definitely. Oh, so you were recently part of a deal reached between the state and the farmers of Waiʻole.
Yep.
Like, can you tell us how that situation started in the first place? Like, why we were even thinking about charging them 600% increase?
So
how it got fixed?
So there's a agency they call the HHFDC. They had already been doing this work for more than a year prior to me even getting in. And so this had come from they said this was orders of the previous administration. That's what the current governor's office said. And matter of fact, when I had been going to these meetings and trying to tell this story, well, it wasn't until I told the story as a senator, the governor's office reached out right away. Nani Medeiros, who actually knows people in the area. I think she has family up here. Oh. But she's the governor's head housing coordinator. And she had reached out and basically said, this is from the prior administration. We don't agree. This isn't aligned with what we want to do. So we want to work it out with you guys. So right away, Nani set up a meeting with a small group of farmers, had initial conversations. It went from there. I had negotiations with HHFDC, talks with them. You know, they were pretty stern on where they stood. I had to tell them, like, look, this ain't the other guys. Like, we don't agree with this. You got to change your tune. And then pretty much that's how it went. And they did change their tune after speaking with the farmers, with the Rapu.
Yeah, like seeing them face to face.
Yeah,
like,
and understanding, you know,
their pain.
Yeah, and they want to work.
Yeah,
they want to work.
Yeah,
not everybody wants to work, but they want to work.
Literally.
And so, if you want to work, you want to farm. We support you. Yeah. Like I said, ag is on the bottom of the budget almost. You know, and so whatever I can to help ag happen, we're gonna do it. And so we kept pushing, and eventually they came to an agreement that they were happy with. And so we settled. I think there was about 11 of them, 10 or 11 of them right off the bat. There's still a lot more, and so this conversation is gonna keep going. But we're happy to get those settled. Yeah, they were real happy too.
So this is a question from one of my viewers. But
I've been waiting a long time.
What are your thoughts on Honolulu's rail project?
I mean, like everybody. Well, first off, I'm a state lawmaker, and I'm not going to say state, city, this and all that. But I am going, like yesterday I did 2 city stuff. Yesterday I got involved, I put out a video about the raises for the city council members. Prior to that, I didn't put this out, but I was at a neighborhood board election where they're pooling names to see who would represent on the Kahului neighborhood board and the Ko'olauloa neighborhood board. So I was pushing my state weight onto the city side. I don't want to do that too often because then people, hey, why didn't you just run for the city? You know, we have council members for that. But when it comes to rail, I mean, like most other people.
So that's a city thing then?
Yeah, rail is city. But it's not on my priority list. It's not on our agenda. It's not something that matter of fact, this may be the first conversation that I've had about rail as a senator.
Solid.
Was it needed? No.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, it's easy to criticize it, so I don't want to criticize it. But yeah, I don't agree with spending all that money on a rail.
My friend, I'm in summer school right now at UH, just for the beginning of the summer, but one of my friends is like, for what? When the rail opens, we could ride them on. I'm like, why would we drive out to the west side to go ride the rail to like...
Well, that's the thing. We're from Kahului, so you know, it's not in our area.
It's kind of funny. But isn't it like only going to the stadium right now?
No, it's going past the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's past the stadium. They're doing work.
I remember when I was in elementary and they had my class do like a little mock vote on like what we felt should happen. Yeah, I voted no. So
what we should do is stop all the non-residents from coming in. You know, keep it local. Maybe add a couple lanes on the freeway.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, that's city side, the rail project.
Well, we was kind of speaking about this like all throughout the pod so far, but how important is it regarding Hawaii specifically to have elected officials from here?
To me, it's of the utmost importance across the board. News, you know, wherever it may be, government, but it's not just locals, because
Yeah,
you got the advantage that most locals will have, in my belief, over outsiders is and when I say locals, because people, hey Brenton, what is locals? Well, locals, you born and raised, or you know, you raised, you got, if you live in Vegas because you moved, you're still local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you're not outsider just
You're
because you
product
live
of
out
Hawaii.
of state. Yeah, if you're a product of here, you're local.
Yeah.
So get that out of the way first. But the advantage over that is the cultural knowledge, the knowledge of community and place, how we're brought up, how we do things, how people think.
Yeah.
You know, there's a disconnect between some lawmakers and our place, because they're just not from the same soil.
Yeah.
So they don't understand how the demographic of people think in that area. You know, Kahaluu and Kaneohe is two different areas.
Yeah.
You know, it's two different ways of thinking, even though they're so close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have that overlap, but you know.
Can you share any personal experience or memories from our district that left like a lasting impression on you?
In my lifetime, or like from what I've done in the Senate?
Oh, from your time as a
As a senator?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously the Iamtongi concert.
Yeah.
That thing. If we got the call from American Idol, what, I don't know how many. It was May 4th, and the concert was May 16th, I believe. So we had between then and then to get the thing done, and the community support. You know, you see Ko'olauloa, they come out for football team, you know, and stuff. But the same thing happened. There was so many people that came out to donate. The bill was still high, but the end product was, you know, it looked really good on American Idol's telecast or whatever you call it, their show. And in person, what it did for the community, for at least that night, was just so much aloha. You know, even our leaders came down. Mayor Blangiardi, I know he felt it. I know he felt it because you could see the look on his face. He was in awe.
Yeah.
You know, of just the warmth.
Yeah.
Not the heat.
Yeah.
The warmth.
Yeah.
Of
The
people.
aloha.
Yeah, it was just shown. It was shown. You know, it was, and you know, the Lord blessed us. Nobody got hurt. You know, nothing like that. It was just a nice event, free, family, no alcohol.
Yeah.
The thing was beautiful. You know, it was the event itself was just so nice, and to see the aloha alive in people, just willing to donate their time, their things to help. That was amazing.
I'm super glad I went. Like, I was kind of debating whether or not I was gonna like make the drive out there, because I actually got stuck behind the parade too. So I was just like in the traffic, just like, do I turn around or do I go? And I was like, nah, this is like a once in a lifetime.
You're almost
thing. Yeah, literally. But yeah, super glad I went. Super cool experience. And Bara, he can sing.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's authentic.
Yeah, super authentic. Like, I was honestly like tearing him up. I was tearing up hearing him sing the song for his dad. And then he got to sing it with James Blunt. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, on the American Idol. Yeah, really good representative of our area. You know, type of guy, the type of kid he is, type of person he is.
Yeah. You can tell, like, I don't feel like the fame is gonna change him.
Yeah, I don't think so. We'll see. Yeah, because you know, when you're in that atmosphere, things can happen. Things can happen. But he seems to be from a solid family, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Good
the whole
foundation.
community raised the kid. So yeah.
So have you thought about any plans that you may want to pursue like after politics is done for you?
No, I mean, every day I wake up knowing that I have X amount of days left, year and a half, whatever it is now, left in this position. And so that's my focus.
Okay.
I don't look at it. May be a downfall. It may be one of my best attributes, depending on how you look at it. I don't care if I get reelected. So everything that I do, I just do on the value of whatever, the issue or the, whatever it is, regardless of the repercussions it may have to me. So I don't know what life will be like. I might say no to some things that everybody wants. And, that might change my trajectory. So I don't know where it's going to go. All I know is that I'm going to finish this thing out.
You're definitely running again, though.
I'm not going to campaign. I'm going to... my name will be on the ballot, and I'll be there for people to vote back in, but I will make the message clear. Like, I'm going to use all my time to work. I only got 2 years. It's a short term, 2-year term. Usually it's 4. The next one would be 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of... I wouldn't have to get into that, but basically reapportionment, how they break things up. Only half of the senators had 4-year terms. The other half get 2-year terms. So next one might be 4.
Okay.
If I get it.
But
I'll be on the ballot, but there will be no campaigning.
So, like, what are some key strategies that you use to ultimately take you to success?
What do you mean? In what aspect?
In life, like.
In life?
Seems like you're pretty successful.
I was blessed to have really good coaches throughout my life. From Pop Warner all the way up. I was from Pop Warner. We made it to the Lost Stadium game. I was just blessed. I wasn't the reason why we made it, but I got to experience it. Being on the team. I wasn't one of the stars on the team at the time. But the coaches, whether they realize it or not, the impact that they have on kids, and that's why one of the things that we do, all the PAL coaches, we're going to give them all certificates, letter of recognitions, for their time and effort, because it really started there for me back in like football, basketball, eventually at Kahuku. Wrestling is what really molded me to who I am. Coach Reggie Torres, I'd be a different person without that guy. Sports really, not just sports, but the coaches in this area, in this district, really molded me to be what this community would want, so what. I know it's not a strategy or anything. It's just lucky, I guess, blessed to have that upbringing and have those people who put their time and effort. So not so much my strategy. Like now that I'm here, I have my wrestling mindset. We work harder than everybody else. We go beyond everybody, all that stuff. But I wouldn't have had all that had I not had the coaches to show me that. Give up their time to show me that.
I feel that.
And there are others, like my best friend from Ka'ava. He's in the Green Berets right now.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's the Green Beret. He's in like one of the best units, I guess. But they have MMA fights, and he's champion in his weight class. 3 years in a row for the military. But so he had the same coaches, If he didn't have the same coaches, he probably wouldn't be doing the same stuff or at the same level, But a bunch of our crew had really successful people. I just believe it was the coaching.
Wow, that's super good.
Yeah.
Well, you are a product of your environment, man.
Yeah.
So community engagement is essential for effective leadership. Like, how do you encourage residents from our district to participate, especially since a lot of us feel like marginalized and unheard?
Just try to explain it. So one thing the news gave me was our job as journalists or anchors or whatever you're in overall is to take information, a bunch of information. Usually there's a lot of misinformation, or not misinformation, but information, and retool it, type it, tell it in a way that most people can understand. And so when the governor speaks, I'm not talking about like Governor Green or anything like that. When somebody of a high level, high academia speaks, a doctor, maybe that's a better example.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get doctors who speak very well and, real understandable. But it's almost like all I try to do is speak how I would speak as an 18-year-old. That way I know down to high schoolers will be able to understand the message.
Yeah.
Because as a high schooler, I remember I used to feel like
kind of gets lost in translation.
Lost. Like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
They're using all kind of big words.
Yes.
And you're just like, this don't matter to me.
I mean, even to today. I run into some lawmakers who use all kind of words and it's like, hold on, what are you saying?
Trying to confuse me on purpose.
Exactly. It's a little different, but I try to just speak and use my news ability, what I learned there with communication, to speak in a way that most people will understand. I remember I had a conversation once with Yanji Denise. She's a really good journalist, Yanji. I worked with her over at KITV when she was the anchor. I was a reporter. We were next to each other on the desk. And one night we was talking about this because Yanji is private school. I believe she's private school. I'm pretty sure she's private school. but she had her vocabulary was, I don't want to say better, but she had a wider vocabulary than most.
Yeah.
And so she one time in the script wrote indict. And a lot of people who follow court and stuff, and people who know things, experience, might know what indict means.
Yeah.
But and the sentence was just something like the grand jury has indicted so and so, and I was like, Yanji, my 18-year-old self out in Kahuku would not understand your sentence. You can tell me what that means. The grand jury has found enough information to take so and so to court to trial.
Simple.
Yeah, break it down.
Yeah.
Rather than use the word indict, break down what that means. They found enough information so that they're going to put this person on trial. So that's the kind of tools that I use, is simplifying the way you speak so that more people can understand. Yeah. Knowing that a lot of people don't follow politics anyway to begin with.
Yeah, so true. I mean, I kind of only recently started. I wouldn't even say I'm into politics. I would just say I'm more exposed to it now because like everybody is on social media, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do see a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, wait, that guy's supposed to be an elected leader? Like, wait, what? Crazy. So, how much pressure is there for being a senator for our district specifically, and how do you overcome it? Because there's like you said, our district is like very conservative. There's a lot of kupuna.
The pressure don't bother me. I've been on TV. I've interviewed the biggest celebrities over and over. Interviewed president. That stuff, it doesn't get me at all. All like criticism, I could take your criticism as long as it's true.
Yeah.
If it's not true, that's when I have a problem. That's when I'll go to war. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You're 8 years old or you're 80 years old. If you're telling misinformation, you shouldn't be speaking.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And so I'll take all the criticism. But if you're going to push misinformation on, be prepared. Because I ain't backing down to that. I don't care who you are, not even the governor.
Yeah, there's kind of been a lot on the news lately. They're kind of like paint a picture of you for being some kind of like, I guess, you're disrespectful towards kupuna. And I'm just like...
Well, that was a misinformation. That was one of the misinformation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misinformation that came out in that.
Do you wanna explain?
No. Like, honestly, my to-do list is so long, and every day it grows, and every day me and my staff can only handle so much of the current, while we also balance the old to-dos that have to get done, right?
Yeah.
So it's constantly going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. That stuff was happening. I'll tell you what, it may have been a big deal to some people. It was so far in the review mirror. I did the news interviews because I know that I have to tell my side.
Yeah.
So I'm obligated to go do that.
Yeah.
And I like the press, They give me free airtime. That's awesome. You cannot pay for that. I cannot anyway. Yeah. But the whole time, that was all happening during the Iam Tongi lead up to the concert. So we were doing 24/7 workout in Turtle Bay, That stuff in town, whatever. You know?
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Classic. Well, wrapping up my pod, I usually like to ask all of my guests, what does aloha mean to you, Senator?
Aloha is just, you know, it's gonna be a long answer because this is one that I feel the state has really doesn't understand what it means. Aloha is beyond a definition. It's look outside, you know, your kalo, right? Your land, your family, like that's part of aloha. And when we leave, it goes.
Yeah.
So to me, aloha is what is inside of us. And that's why we fight so hard to tear it up. But because it's not just a word or a brand or promotion, something that can make you money. It's something that we hold. And we got to protect our people from leaving, because it's leaving too. That's it.
That's a very powerful definition, Brenton. Mahalo for your time. Yep. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all enjoyed that as much as me, because holy shit, the whole time I was nervous as fuck.
Well, my first Twitch, so.
Yeah, I'm going to go see my guest out, and I'll catch you guys sometime soon. And yeah, mahalo nui.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Brent.